All right, we have a new Star Citizen video. I don't know what it is, or what it's about, so we're just gonna click on it and let's go. I'm assuming it's a behind the
this year
ships.
at Invictus, we introduced the Greycat MTC, which is the first in a family of ground vehicles from Greycat. The MTC was designed as this sort of utilitarian, all-purpose rover-style vehicle that allows 2 players to just bomb around the battlefield, exploring, storage on board for whatever they need, and then as well having mission storage boxes on the back. So really, it was a ground vehicle capable of doing the majority of our ground vehicle roles. And today we're introducing the MDC, which is your Mobile Defense Center.
Oh, okay, this ground vehicle actually looked useful. Like one of the first useful ones ever. This one's not sleeper.
The MDC is the ultimate ground support vehicle that you can take into battle.
It's designed to give you a little bit extra protection.
There's no vehicle that's...
So the big thing there is, I mean, are they bringing back Jumptown? Right? And then how do you make sure that the PDC is on? Can you be out of the vehicle? I wonder. But yeah. You need 3 to kill 1 bomb? No.
better to support your team.
The first thing you're going to notice when you see the MDC is the PDT on the back, and Point Defense Turret. The PDT itself is new. It's a ballistic Gatling version of the existing bearing point defense turrets we have elsewhere in the game.
Okay. So now
Obviously,
we
being
have
a
laser,
ballistic,
missile,
it has
and Gatling.
finite ammo, so this will need to go back to a location to reload. But the trade-off for that is that it has an increased alpha damage, so it is more useful against shielded and armored
Can you swap it out? Like the other PDCs on ships?
targets.
No, it's not unlimited.
So the reason we decided to put a PDT on a ground vehicle was because when you have events like Jumptown and
$12
people are
to
there
swap,
loading
yeah.
their ships and getting other bits and pieces, you're very vulnerable to attack.
Jumptown mentioned. You have not run Jumptown in over a year. Are you going to run Jumptown, or did you just mention Jumptown to sell the vehicle?
Giving them a different means to actually defend themselves, or if they're on their own.
The PDT on the MDC is swappable.
The location's
So
still
that
there,
means you can have the missile variant,
It is swappable. $12.
the Gatling variant, and the laser variant. The missile and the laser variant is now available in 4.4 within in-game stores.
I'm dead serious. Did they, guys? Did they do another weapon pack for this? Did they do another weapon pack for this? Because that's going to be insane. He said in-game stores. Okay. When you have to say it's in in-game stores, first off, praise. Thank you for doing that. When you have to say it's in in-game stores, but then the previous day you did the exact opposite, it's a little bit weird. Let's hear what he says, though.
The missile and the laser variant is now available in 4.4 within in-game stores.
The missile and laser variants are available in the game, but the ballistic you have to buy this vehicle with.
Driving the MDC around is very much like driving the MTC around. Its handling is almost identical. It's capable of getting to places the MTC is capable of getting.
Because all vehicles handling is kind of shit right now.
But whilst you're driving around, the PDT is automatically engaging threats against you as a player, whether that's incoming ordnance or ships.
Will it shoot? Well,
but as an added bonus,
dogs?
it is also very useful as a base defense mechanism. You can park this vehicle up, leave it
Guys, base building mentioned.
there, and then it will continue the same role of defending against targeted ordnance and ships whilst you're outside the vehicle.
The exterior is a mix between utilitarian and minimalistic. We wanted to find a good balance between those.
The MXC is a really nice chassis.
Here's the thing that bothers me about this. There's only one small thing that bothers me about this. Don't you feel like they should have sold, even if they sold them for real money, why do they require a vehicle? Is the part that I struggle with. I know to like get around, move around and stuff, but I feel like that they should be things that we just like kind of place around us and are useful. Like, I don't even care if they sold them for real money necessarily. Just having like a deployable of some kind, I think would have been better. But I mean, you know, whatever. It's again not that big of a deal from that standpoint. And the reason I would prefer that is the same reason that they put it on a vehicle. And that is that a ship would have a hard time targeting it, right? These are the most stealthy things that you could target in the game are ground vehicles. They're very, very, very difficult to target. And that's where these get really interesting. You know, oh my God, what were the Ballista was a very, very, very cool vehicle when it first came in. Reason being, you didn't know it was there, and then all of a sudden missiles were getting fired at you, right? The Centurion, unfortunately, turrets are just not that viable. PDCs kind of replaced the turrets' lack of viability because they're so strong. Well, so accurate, I guess. But yeah, I guess that's the only thing I look at this. It was like, it didn't really need to be on the back of a vehicle, but they're so used to selling vehicles that I think it's kind of why they went that way. But yeah. Yay, more new weapon systems, but God forbid we get any sort of social tools. The guys who make the vehicles don't make the social tools. It's a weird argument. I agree with your argument. We need social tools more than we need more vehicles, but the pipeline of making vehicles, they've perfected it. The pipeline of actually making a game, they haven't, because they don't practice in that at all. They're a vehicle and a pledge store company right now, / potentially a single player game with Squadron.
To work with. We thought about the different variants when we were designing the base chassis, and I think it lends itself really well. It kind of leans into that military idea of they don't want to be making everything from scratch. They want parts to be serviceable, they want them to be interchangeable.
I'm so sick of this now, like hearing it, because you think it was actually a meaningful thing for them to be like, oh, this company wants things to be interchangeable and they're sick and tired of this. And then you realize that it's to, like with the L-22, it was like, I didn't think anything bad until it was sold in the shop, you know?
I like to keep the overall silhouette of the vehicle and its overall size as close to the main chassis as we can, but then when it jumps into action, the turret lifts up on this big platform that is very well supported, very, very strong, and it gives a little bit greater visibility, not only of the sky, but also of the surrounding area. You can see the engineering that's gone into it, and I think it's really successful in conveying what its purpose is.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be such a fun vehicle to test out and see how it works. Like, people dropping bombs, like, because it looks perfect in their videos, right? How will it be in actual practice will be a really fun thing to find out. They're just justifying why it's on a vehicle? Of course, of course.
The interior is based on the teenage engineering design, rounded corner and bold buttons.
As soon as you walk in, on the rear wall, it's all of the components. So everything you need to make the vehicle drive, everything you need to make the vehicle function.
Engineering.
My favorite part of interior is those two weapon racks next to each other, and just open the door, access to weapon rack, get the gun and go back.
You've got your fire extinguisher, and then you're straight into the cockpit, straight into driving it around and blowing things up.
I can definitely see these being used a lot within the universe, especially at things like Jump Town style events or the DMR rally, where there's always a threat of incoming ships.
Nobody's using this at the Daymar rally because they're going to be shooting other rally members. Nobody's going to use this at the Daymar rally. No shot.
Everyone's fun. Or causing everyone's fun. Suppose it depends what side you're on.
It's my first ship vehicle that I worked on it from scratch, and really amazing concept from Sam.
I really have a good time designing it and finding ways of putting everything together, making everything fit and worked. within the constraints.
I think it has the potential to be extremely useful.
It's the second vehicle in the family that we're showing.
But the content doesn't yet exist for it. They keep mentioning Jump Town. Daymar Rally does exist, but I don't think he's correct in its use case because everybody would have to be in the party to not get shot by them. And that would cause so many issues with performance. Hathor, maybe. Hathor might be decent. They could have been good at Dupree. Yeah. So there's some use cases for it. I am curious how it plays out, right? Because again, there are some places, put 20 around Hathor site and it's yours potentially, but these don't shoot at Idris, Polaris, things like that, right? So they could just fire torpedoes at the ground and kill them. It comes down to how stealthy are they? How easy is it to target? How far away can you be to target these things? That is the most important thing. You want them to be able to shoot you. I want them to be able to shoot bombs and potentially smaller ships before those ships can shoot at it. And I think then and only then will they be effective. But I don't know. That's the kind of the key there, right? Only 2K range on the laser PDC. That's fine. But most vehicles, you need to be within 500 meters, right? So that's the important thing, is you have that 1,500 meters where you're just under fire. That kind of needs to happen here. Cool, though.
And I think you can see that commonality between the two existing ones. And it just adds that extra utility, which I think is very useful.
And we're off to the NFC next year for crafting.
It's for someone that wants to...
The fuck did he just say?
Utility, which I think is very useful.
And we're off to the NFC next year for crafting.
What? He's just said crafting, but I don't know what... Is there going to be a crafting vehicle?
It's for someone that wants to take those extra...
The MSC variant? A crafting vehicle, guys. Oh, God. Can we stick crafting to just, like, base building? And some ships, maybe?
Steps just to ensure that something's looking out for them.
Like, what's the point of it? I don't know.
So what happens to the person?
And again, this is like the pledge store shit. Is they're going to create the point that doesn't need to happen. It doesn't need to exist. How would crafting be better? Crafting would be really good at bases. Crafting would be really good at space stations. And crafting would be okay on certain ships. Why does it need to be on a ground vehicle? And what are they going to make it special? They're going to make it special for something. You know what I mean?
Person who gets 30 of these.
I hope what it is a base building thing. Was the MTC part of the base building process? If I remember correctly, a while back, the original base building, they showed something like that.
And lines the top of their 890 jump with them.
That person feels really safe.
Guys, look at all this sandbox gameplay right here. Holy shit. Wow, sandbox gameplay. That's wild. That's so cool. Yeah. One of, if not the most effective ground vehicle that has ever existed in this game, potentially. Let's look at the sale page. It was just linked in chat. I don't think we really need to look at all the screenshots of the video that we just saw. Of course, we need to look at the paint. For once, I think the camo stuff actually is relevant a little bit because you're on the ground. It's $45. And they're not selling the weapons. They're not selling the PDCs. More info to see what it includes. So this also includes the missile turret as well. The concierge has all 3 types included. I only see 2 types. This one will probably include all 3 because it has the 3 vehicles. Or the 2 vehicles. I don't know. One's already installed on the vehicle. Okay, so you have the option to switch. But this one doesn't? No, this one does as well. Yeah. Good on them. Why didn't they do that with the Wolf? The credit one doesn't. Ew. That's disgusting. Why? Ew. That's really silly. But that's why they said it's available for in-game shops. This IAE feels like A/B testing. I think it is. I think they're trying to figure out what they can get away with. And trust me, based on the feedback from my video about the L22, is they're going to get away with that shit. Yeah, I'm sure this is just this is like this year's LTI token. It's fine. But again, it feels like A/B testing. They're just gonna push. They're gonna keep pushing to see how far they can push because they want to raise revenue to appease board members or something like that. It seems like when they haven't even released a fucking game. This feels really gross to me, though. But then at the same time, they're so cheap to earn in the game, and all they are is one quantum jump. So it's not that big of a deal. If you deliver them at the same time, and they're in the game at the same time, it's not that big of a deal. Where it does become a big deal is, you know, when you have a thing linked to your account, you never lose it. And I bring this up every fucking time. They don't tell us how the insurance will truly work yet. And until we see it, we won't know. How much of an advantage is it to use the pledge store over not using it? We're here to support a project. We want it to do well, but at what point is enough? And for me, that's the line for me, is when the insurance is overwhelmingly strong for somebody who purchased versus somebody who didn't. Now you're gaining this advantage that is unfair. You know, yes, you skipped all the person who's buying everything is skipping the game and is never going to enjoy the game. They're literally hurting themselves, I believe, more than they're hurting the game itself. They still are massively hurting the game by, you know, achievements being purchased on the website rather than earned in the game, right? And the game has had to work around that fact forever, and I think the game is worse for it. But in this case, it's such a minor thing. Is it that big of a deal? Probably not. You know, I don't think anyone's going to lose sleep over this one. They probably should, because it's slippery slope, but I don't think anyone's going to lose sleep.